Right at B44.2, the rear hinge pins, A-arms, or yeah, the rear A-arms. I guess what we'll do here is just start with the 7/16. Put the nut in here. We're going to get this thing secured and holding in place for us here. This part's kind of tricky. You gotta sometimes force that thing in there. Force the hinge pins in there. Oh, wait. That goes on the other one. This is a 5/8. I need the 7/16. That'd be this one. Oops, so I can get this on the screen for you here. I'm just tightening the nut. No big deal. I say no big deal. It's turning into a big deal. Get that on there and get her snugged up. Kind of hold the chassis plate in place for us. Now, this is where I've seen some people get a little bit flustered on the kick-up. Or I'm sorry, this is the anti-squat. On the anti-squat, you're going to want those two washers right there. And this here little the rear arm mount is going to go over the top of it. And what this does is it puts angle in your A-arm. The higher it is, the more anti-squat. The lower it is, the less. Now this box stock comes with 2 degrees anti-squat, which is pretty happy medium if you ask me. I play around with it every once in a while just to find out. I like the 2 better. But it's a good idea to calibrate these just to make sure they're the same, because if you get them too far off, you can get a funny driving car when you're on power and when you're jumping. Let's see. Whoa. Looky there. They're both exactly 79, so they're on their game when it comes to that. They know how important it is. So this is where it gets fun. Trying to get that washer in there, plus tighten that, plus hold everything in place. Sometimes if you want to get sneaky, you can hold this up there and put the pin in there, the hinge pin in there, and get it in there. But it's tough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put it on there like that. And I'm going to leave it a little bit loose so that it'll be a little bit easier to drive that hinge pin in there, that A-arm pin. So let's just get that there going. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here or not. There's a lock nut that goes in there. And they give you enough screw to stick out over the top that you can add or take away or whatnot. So we'll just get this started. That way it'll just hold it in place. And do the same thing over here. We're just going to slide that in there. Try to hold that thing in place and put these 5/8 length 440 screws up in there. There we go. Oop. Kind of hard to hold everything in place, plus keep it on screen here. Yeah, if I do that. This here's all just pretty much simple. Go by the pictures. Don't gotta have a degree in rocket science or anything. Now when these go in, being this is at an angle and everything, it's kind of tough to do it. So sometimes it might be just as easy to undo these, and that way you can move it back and forth and get it in there. We're going to try doing it this way and hope for the best. There we go. Went right in. We're going to try to do the same thing over here. Get this pin started. Now these holes go to the front of the kit. The curve of the A-arm goes up. Really can't mess up when it comes to this. Pretty easy. Look at there, it just slid right in. Nothing to it. Now we can snug it up. You want to crank them down pretty good. You don't want that thing working loose and wobbling around. They're pretty snug. There's that. Put the little keeper screws in there so your hinge pins don't slide out on you when it's working. Now if you go by the manual, it's going to tell you put the gearbox in. But when you put the gearbox in, all this stuff's it's always in the way. So I just put it in afterwards. It's just as quick and easy. Got my little booty on there. Give those a try. Hopefully they're going to work out pretty good. Then you got 4 3/8 screws. Put them right in here. Don't get no easier than that. We're already at 7 minutes and 20 seconds pretty much. Tells you how fast and simple it goes once you get this going. Oh, I forgot. If you don't put this in there before you put the gearbox in there, a lot of times it won't go. So, got to loosen that up. I'm getting ahead of myself here. That's your bumper nut. Got to have that in there if you're going to have a bumper on there. I noticed that J Concepts Jason Royana guy, he's got an aluminum brace on the back of his, and I don't think I've ever seen one for sale anywhere. So, how about that? He's holding out. He doesn't even have a bumper on his. So, put all these 3/8 and 440s in there and be done with that, and then we'll put the bumper on. And we can move on to the slipper. Slippers are a little bit of work. They're not hard, but they have a process. Got to do them a certain way. Can't just throw them together. You got to actually do a little reading and do a little bit of looking at the pictures. One thing I like about this kit, there ain't a whole lot of reading. You can just about look at the pictures and just go right at it. Pretty tight. Pretty snug. Then you're going to take your short screw and put your bumper on. Let's say 5/16 440. Drive right through there like so. Right into that lock nut. There you have it. Bumper's on, ready to go. If somebody wants to rear end you, boom, boom. If you want to hack somebody from the rear, boom, boom. Got your bumpers. We're set. Look at that. Everything's moving pretty free. That's a little snug, but it ain't bad, and it's going to free up a bunch. So there you have it. Page 9. Bag F. Bag F. In the trash with Bag F. Look what we're headed to do. Look what we're headed to do. Yeah, baby. Onto the slipper. We're going to get the middle of this car put together now. See you in a bit.